Hi everybody, Charis here, and I am in a beautiful meadow. You might be able to hear the water running. There are all these little streams going through this meadow, and I'm on Mount Shasta. There's the top of the mountain right there. And it doesn't look very big because I'm up on it. This is not me down from the flatlands looking up the mountains. This plane is actually on the mountain. So this is the first video from my quest that I'm on, my unexpected quest. I'm calling it the Golden Gaia Quest, Journey of Awesomeness. Because people keep asking me, what is it that I'm looking for? Why am I doing this? And the answer is, I'm not looking for anything. I'm happy, and I'm not trying to find something consciously, at least. What ends up happening with me is that the universe tells me that it's time to go somewhere and do something, and so I do. And so this is that. And the sun's just going down behind some pine trees over there. And I got here to this campground, not here, it's a little ways that way, last night, right after the sun had gone down. And I had to put up my tent in the dark with a headlamp. And it was the first time I'd ever put up a tent. And I've been camping before, but never all alone. Never getting there at night, obviously. And whenever I've been camping and using a tent, because I don't always use a tent, especially when I go lightweight camping or ultralight camping, I don't use a tent. So when I have been camping, it's been with a group, and so the men say, we'll put up the tent. And I will say, men, you know I love you. But I will say that I put up the tent faster and with less snafus than any man I've ever observed because I read the directions. So that's another plus for doing things like meditating, because meditation gives you the handbook for life. So anyway, this quest is all about discovering awesomeness and all its awesomeness. What I'm finding is that because I had to get here, I thought that coming to Shasta, which always feels like such a coming home to me, I thought it would be really esoteric and I'd be out of my body the whole time pretty much, and I'd have all these crazy experiences. And I am having crazy experiences. There are really amazing synchronicities that are happening just off the charts in all kinds of ways, from songs on the radio answering a question I just thought 5 seconds ago in the lyrics of the song, to a street somehow becoming what I needed, all these kinds of things. But what I'm finding is this is actually a very grounded journey. And from the time that I got here, what I had to do was put a tent together, and then I had to take care of the Lithia. Hi. And so I have not really been popping out of my body. I've been staying in my body. And what I'm discovering is that if what you want to do is create your heaven bubble, or your awesomeness sphere, or really find heaven on earth, it's going to be on earth. It's not going to be popping out and finding all of these amazing things on the spiritual. That's part of it. But also you have to come here and expect it to happen here in this dimension where you actually are physically with people that you also meet physically. So I have met amazing people. If you want to find kindred spirits and you feel like this, Shasta is the place to come, or Sedona is the place to go, and that happened there too. So what I'm finding is I'm meeting people who are having ridiculous kindred experiences today, and I hope to record a video like this with you tomorrow so I can show you. A new friend and I went on a hike and found a gigantic reishi mushroom growing on the side of a tree. And she knows mushrooms, she grows them, so she knew it was a reishi mushroom. And we ate some of it. I mean, it was huge. It was like this big. She'd never seen one that big before. And so we're eating pieces of this mushroom, and it was delicious. I've never in my life tasted anything like that. And I felt like Alice in Wonderland, taking the piece off the mushroom and eating it. And we were talking about all of our experiences over the course of this lifetime, very feminine type things, talking about personal power, sexuality, standing in your truth while still being loving and honoring the truth of others. And her son was there, who she's growing into this magnificent, strong-willed but also kind man, which is perfect. And we could both feel the mountain sucking in our words and listening to the plight of the goddess as it currently is on this planet. So it's been a really interesting day. Tomorrow I drive to Portland, and I'm going to be there for a couple days. And after that, I'm going to head a little bit east. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going, but what I want to tell you guys is quests are cool, and you can go on little ones. Go on a weekend quest, pack your bag full of stuff that you might need, put it in the car, and just drive with no destination and see what happens. Worst case scenario, you sleep in your car at a rest stop and then continue on the next day or come back. But there's something to be said for noticing the heaven that is already around you in the dimension where you currently find yourself. And if you really can't find it anywhere at all, then just change a couple little things. Go do something you've never done. Call someone you haven't talked to in a really long time. Try something new with the intention that you're shifting your reality to make it easier for heaven to come visit you, rather than you needing to always find it or needing to really push and shove to bring it in. My intention is to get all of the power of Shasta and send it into this video for you. So please try to take a moment and just breathe and notice the scenery here and feel it in your body here. I'll give you a view of exactly what I can see. So there's the mountain, like I said. See up there, and there's a very tip top. And then here is what I see. See all the colors in the meadow? I always find it so incredible how many colors these regions have, even though there aren't really very many flowers here or things that you would expect to bring color. Over here is the sunset, and right after I turn this off, I'm going to do some sun gazing. And down there is down the mountain. You can barely see that little bit of something there, and those are other mountains. And that's another piece of the mountain there. So, anyway, I hope that you're all doing very well. Last night was the full moon, and I could barely sleep. What I noticed was it was actually really cold. So if you're going to be camping this winter, make sure that you're warm enough, because I was cold. I had to go to town today and buy a hat because I could not handle it. It was ridiculous. So that's been the only drawback so far, was the cold last night. But Lilithia actually got in the sleeping bag with me. Oh, that's one thing I want to tell you guys about. She got in the sleeping bag with me, and she rested her chin on my forehead for a little while, and we slept that way. And my third eye, as a result, was popping and crackling and buzzing and sizzling. And then not long after that, I woke up. I didn't really sleep much last night at all. And when I found out it was the full moon, that made sense as to why I hadn't slept. I didn't think it was a full moon last night, but someone told me it was, and I don't know, I guess so. It's hard to keep track of time these days. But later on in the night, the tent was pretty bright because I'd left the skylight open to be able to see the moon and the stars. I was looking at her profile because she'd moved so that she was right next to me. I mean, a couple inches from my face. And I was looking at her little profile as she was sleeping. And where should I show her to you? Oh, she's right here. And I discovered that she started to look human to me. And I was totally sober, hadn't taken any drugs. That mushroom I ate, I didn't get high off it. It was just a reishi mushroom. And that was even today after it happened. But her profile, I kept looking, and it morphed in the way that things morph when you're going multidimensionally. So I couldn't put my finger on exactly what it was. Something about how it felt, something about how her nose looked, something about how her forehead was. And she was morphing into a human profile. And it was so amazing. And I didn't quite know what to do with that information. I just noticed it and thought to myself that perhaps Shasta is also activating her, not just me. So I do feel not so much like I'm being brought out of my body at Shasta like I have before. I'm feeling more like I'm being activated, and that Shasta is reaching in and fiddling with my circuitry. Obviously, I'm eating big handfuls of living mushroom that then combines with your DNA and alters it. So clearly I'm being amped up and souped up for something. I don't know what else is going to happen on this quest. Maybe I'm just going to keep having amazing experiences like this. Maybe it's going to be different stuff. But just sending you guys love and the intention that we're all activating at the same time in our own ways, that they're all unique enough so that we make this beautiful rainbow of awesomeness and novelty. And wishing you well, go in peace, and I'll talk to you again very soon.